And this could be the goofiest one of all. Where did we get up these cholesterol recommendations? Well, we got them from studies with excessive amounts and based on animal studies looking at this. So if you're going to study cholesterol, what kind of animal would you want to study? Well, a rabbit, of course, because we're so similar to that little bunny. I mean, you've seen bunnies, you know, like on Wild Kingdom where they've got a pack of hungry rabbits and they chase down a water buffalo and they nibble it to death. Well, no, because they don't eat meat. So they've never seen cholesterol in their body. Let's pump them full of it and see what happens. Well, let me say one other thing about that too. This guideline, because it's goofy. I'm going to go back one. These little rabbits then, they gave them about 100 times the cholesterol that you could ever eat. And these little rabbits eat their own poo. And most of the times we don't. And I say most of the time we don't because my little grandson's 5. And I was telling him this story a couple days ago. I said, when you were little, you were about 1, I walked in, my son's screaming, he's grabbing the dog, he's smacking it on the head. You're sitting there on the floor, you had just reached out and taken a little round piece of poo and shoved it in your mouth. And he said, really? Yeah, really. You know, I picked you up and I started pulling the poo around your 2 teeth. And your mother came to the door. And she said, what are you feeding the children? Nothing. I have been known to experiment on the grandchildren. So one time I gave a little study of dried fruits throughout the morning, and we ate like 10 of them, and they had diarrhea the rest of the day. And she blames me. And so I say, no, I didn't feed him anything, but he did eat some poo just then. And so look at the date of this study, if you would. It is 1912. This study has been quoted for 100 years. And it was based on this kind of data. Okay. And so here's the dietary guidelines. This is not the guidelines. This is the committee. And the committee says we're not bringing forth this guideline because there's no evidence to show that it works. And here's what your government does. This is not my government, because if this happens, I go across the border to Mexico and don't claim I'm an American. Here's what this says. It says, limit consumption to 300 milligrams per day is not included in this edition. Now, we should stop reading right there, because that little tiny bureaucrat added this. But this change does not suggest that dietary cholesterol is no longer important. Yes, it does. That's exactly what they said. They said, we're not bringing it forward because there's no connection. And so the guidelines don't call for limiting cholesterol anymore, but they threw that stupid thing in there, and I don't know why. Here's my sinister guess. There's a billion-dollar industry out there with statins. If you start messing with that, and cholesterol isn't that big of an issue, or there's a problem with that, somebody could lose $1 billion, billions of dollars. That is my conspiracy theory thought. Maybe the guy just made a mistake. All right, here's some egg studies. I just want to show you one. And this shows that if your cholesterol is 130, you eat an egg, goes to 134. Here, 150 goes to 154. Here's 170 goes to 174. So the change is a reduction of 1, 0.7, or 0.3. So does cholesterol in an egg make a difference? Yeah, 0.3%. Spend your whole life looking at cholesterol, getting out of your body, and you will certainly die of heart disease from the other 45 things that actually kill you. And so eggs just aren't it. I do apologize to the egg industry also, because I told people not to eat eggs. I threw more yolks down the drain in my day because they're so evil, and that's where all the food is. Now, any of you women have ever had a baby, you know that that baby sucks the life out of you for 9 months. It sucks every nutrient out of you, and it takes everything it can from you. Now think of this little egg. This egg is laid, nothing in, nothing out. That becomes an entire creature with nothing. That's got to have a lot of nutrients in it, don't you think? They're all in the yolk. What did I do? Pour them down the drain. So, cholesterol. Here we are. I asked the students again, here's Walmart. Is it important? Yes. Here's my students. They're getting smarter. Here's the faculty. It's always dangerous to get a faculty with a PhD that's not keeping up on the data, because they can give you 55 reasons that are wrong.